welcome to the podcast, episode 8. We're sitting here with Country, my wife Brittany,
hi,
and the very legendary SteveO. What?
With my pit stains.
Yeah, well, there's a story behind the pit stains, dude. We just did an hour in the sauna.
Yeah, my on my tour bus, which is actually just a crappy RV, the air conditioning's just kind of loud. So I turn off the air conditioning to record podcasts, and it becomes a fairly unbearable sauna. But to everybody who came over from my podcast,
thank you,
welcome,
first of all.
and thank you for coming to Romans. And to anybody who is just here from Romans, then know that we just did an hour in the sauna.
Yeah, guys, check out the wild ride. Steve and I just did a full podcast on his channel.
It was great, too.
I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah,
sitting with you is always an honor. To do it on a mic, very cool. But
I appreciate that a lot, dude. And it was really rad that you reached out about doing it. I was like, man, dude, godsend, because I was dying to get you on my podcast and to do it together. And now you're in cahoots with Spotify to have them like elevate our podcast collab.
There's a cool thing going on with these two podcasts. I hope this is the goal. So if you guys are used to watching on YouTube, go check out the Spotify. They're working with this episode, man. They want our collab to do well, and I'm so stoked.
How does the video component work with Spotify? Like, I understand that Rogan on Spotify has the video component, but I think that for us, isn't it just audio only?
Well, I'm not sure how much I can say.
Okay.
But there's some things that are coming that are very exciting.
If
very exciting.
I would love to supply Spotify with my video files so that they can, right?
So let's do this right now.
Okay.
Everybody, go check out my podcast, SteveO's podcast. I think there's a special episode. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that it's possible that there's going to be a video component?
I'm just saying you should check it out.
Wow.
We could be one of the first.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
And presumably in order to make that happen, you have to supply them with the video files.
Yeah. And I got you covered, man. We're going to go over this.
If I can do that, dude, I love it. Just Dropbox file kind of deal.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, man.
Epic.
We got it, man.
I'll do that every week.
Yeah.
I would do that every week. Fantastic, dude. Well, welcome to the podcast world.
Yeah, dude, we're new. We're fresh. We feel like babies, man.
I know. Get ready for unending anxiety over booking guests. Like, there's nothing more suffocating than knowing that you're going from week to week and that you got to like hustle and pull something together.
Yeah, I already feel it. And you know how fast a week goes. I'm like, I got a week. And then it's boom, instant.
Right.
So,
but then again, I'm talking to the guy who uploads vlogs like with tireless dedication and work ethic. So
at some point,
a weekly to you is kind of.
I feel at this time in my life, the podcast is just perfect, man. I think my viewers see my happiness, the joy, and I just feel good here, man. I got close people to me and legends sitting here, man.
Now, Brittany, I asked Roman on my podcast, like, to kind of paint a picture of how stressful his vlogging, how much stress it put on the family and on your relationship. Like, it didn't sound like Roman didn't make it sound too catastrophic, but I wonder what your version.
Yeah, no, it was definitely hard. I mean, we weren't going to bed together.
I
So
told
it's
him,
like for us
3
to have
years.
more kids, it was like, okay, you can't do every day.
That's why there's a gap, bro.
There's just like a
editing.
big gap between pregnancies, and it's like, oh, we
He must have been
had to get
editing
some
that
time
year.
together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a tattoo on your hand.
That's right.
For what at the time was just 2 kids.
You did all these letters, Brit, and my last kid is also a K, so we're just going to double that up.
Okay.
Double K.
So, but you need more letters, right?
I know I feel bad. I'm missing a kid.
You need so just one more.
Just one more, man. You got him
wow.
in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
man.
feel like you've cranked out more kids than that.
That was fun. That was it.
It does feel like that.
I'm taking my time, man.
Yeah. So episode 8.
Episode 8.
And that's exciting. It's pretty incredible how many podcasts there are and how fragmented the media is in general. You would think that like from back in the days when there was just 3 television networks, like ABC, NBC, CBS.
Mm.
Like, I don't even think they had Fox, but now they got Fox.
Yeah.
And then basic cable comes in, and you add like maybe initially like 30 more channels. And then like satellite TV, now you got 100 channels. And then you get the internet, and then it's like, and then radio with the podcasting. Yet somehow there's enough of an audience to keep it all afloat. And there's every asshole and their mother has a podcast. But like when you come in and you have a bona fide audience, you're going to find that it doesn't matter. You're going to have a wildly successful podcast. I know it.
Yeah, I wonder if we're late. We're late in the game, right? In the podcast, but maybe early with some of the new things I'm hearing about. So maybe right place, right time.
I think that I think that you have an audience, and your audience wants to see more of you. Plus, like the nature of the content that you create is kind of like inviting your audience into your life. And that's what a podcast is like people feel like they get to hang out with you, like, oh, I get to be like sort of in the room when you're just hanging out. And there's something really intimate about it. And I think that jives well with what you've created.
Yeah, a more personal version of already what we do.
Right.
Yeah, much more.
So I think it's great. And what we've learned about media is that there's no such thing as saturation, basically, because there's just more and more all the time, more noise, and
I'm creating humans. There's always new eyeballs, man.
you know, I got a vasectomy.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
You can reverse that, man.
I would love to know what a vasectomy reversal looks like, because I mean, like I would imagine. I don't know if you're aware, but our Jackass guy, one of the new cast members, whose name is Poopies.
Love him.
A year ago, we filmed an episode of Shark Week, and he was like brutally attacked.
Yes,
his hand. He had multiple arteries severed, as well as all of the tendons. Like if you have your hand out, like it comes out perpendicular, but his was just flopped all the way down because everything was severed. And so he went into multiple surgeries to reattach severed arteries. And I just picture like the tiniest little needle and thread, like to...
How amazing that they can even do that.
Right. How amazing they can even do that. And I'm thinking that to reattach a severed vas deferens, which is the pipe coming out of your balls connecting to the wiener, like it seems like a lot.
Sounds like your next Netflix series, honestly.
Well, dude, I videotaped my vasectomy for my multimedia tour, the Bucket List show.
I love when you try not to go under. That is comedy gold. You're not taking me down.
Yeah, but what I learned about the vasectomy is that to reverse it seems totally silly, because what a vasectomy is you sever the vas deferens, which is the tube which delivers the sperm from the testicle to the wiener. You cut that so that the sperm never makes it to the wiener, never comes out of the wiener. However, the sperm continues to be produced in the testicles. So rather than reverse the vasectomy, what you can do, and it's not a comfortable proposition, but you extract sperm from the testicle with a needle.
Got it.
And so it's like they got to stick a needle in here, but then you can pull it out. Now, I have this controversial theory that
I'm on a roller coaster ride. You ever go down? Like you feel that down there? That's exactly what you explained it to me.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, I will adopt children right now. Nobody's reversing anything.
Right. I mean, I believe that since you have to get a license to catch a fish, you have to get a license to do a lot of pretty basic things. I like the idea that people should have to get a license to become a parent.
Oh my gosh, there'd be a lot of fines. A lot of fines.
I mean, it's a controversial thing, and I should probably shut the hell up about it.
Do you get the license like out of high school so you're prepared, or you have to apply before hey baby, I'm ready to make a baby, let's go get our license? Or is it like you're covered because you have your license?
I mean, I don't know. I just think that there should be like a certain amount of education about developmental psychology, you know, so that you can, because like humans are basically, you know, malleable. They're like clay that can be molded until like the age of 6. And like at the age of 6, the clay basically goes in the oven and you're set for like how you're going to be for the rest of your life. So those first 6 years are so critically important. And I think that a lot of people are just going into parenthood with no idea about like things that are really damaging, you know, for the long term, like the whole life of their children.
Yeah.
And I think that's one component that should get a lot of attention.
That's a tough call, man.
I mean,
just asking for a friend, what happens if you accidentally had a baby? Do I pay a
No,
fine?
you just have that cut out, and then it has to be someone.
I mean, this is super like, you know, like Brave New World, like horrible, you know. But I like a hypothetical idea where, like, at birth, you would get a vasectomy. And then once you get the license, then you become eligible to have your sperm extracted.
God. You're now allowed to fly the helicopter. You have got your license.
Wow.
I mean, it would never happen. It would never happen. But then again, who would have thought that abortion would be illegal?
So it sounds like something that is not that far off in the way we live in right now. Look at China, man. There's been a lot of time.
I know, dude. China's gnarly.
It's illegal to have
and I don't mean, it's not my intention to upset anybody with my controversial beliefs.
That's a thought. It's a thought.
You know, I just, you know, and my reason for getting a vasectomy, I think, I have a profound respect for the idea of life. You know, like I'd be mortified to pass on my genetics.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, my on my mom's side of the family, it's 100% of the family tree is gnarly alcoholics and addicts, and there's suicide and gambling, and like alcoholism killed everybody on my mom's side of the family, like including my mom, her siblings, like as far up the family tree as I even know about.
But you broke it. You broke the chain.
I'm the only one who got clean and
There's
sober.
a crazy statistic on...
Never skipped a generation. Every leaf on the tree.
There's a crazy statistic. It's an actual fact that if your father's an alcoholic, you have like a 90-some% to not only be an alcoholic, but for 4 generations. So it takes when it's broken, the effect is the same. 4 generations may not be an alcoholic.
Yeah, but the getting sober doesn't make you stop being an alcoholic. That's the problem.
You still want it.
Yeah, well, the disease is alive and well.
Interesting.
I mean, it's gnarly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's a fight.
I mean, it's something that needs to be treated. Wow. You know, and there's the only proven you know, treatment that works is like spiritual in nature. You know, like the whole 12-step thing is like a spiritual program, and people struggle with that. But yeah, in any case, like passing on my alcoholism is something I struggle with, as well as you know, the world. I just see this, and this is a heavy one. I'm going to hit you.
I can tell.
This is a heavy one. I'm going to hit you with. I have a buddy who I've known since we were both 9 years old in 4th grade, and for all the moving around all over the world, it's crazy that I've stayed in touch with this guy. His name's Abdullah. He's a devout Muslim. His family's from Sudan, and we graduated high school together in England. And, you know, I go off to University of Miami and fail, and I'm homeless, and like, you know, like become me. And Abdullah went straight from our high school in England to Brown University, graduated with a 4.0, went from there to Cornell Medical School, and then went from there to become a pediatric surgeon at the Mayo Clinic. And he has since invented ways of operating on unborn children in the womb. Like he goes, like he identifies issues with unborn babies, and operates on them in the womb. And it is him who invented these techniques. Like it's insane. Like our life paths could not be more different. And yet we've stayed in touch.
That's awesome.
And we have this beautiful relationship. So one day, when I was in Minnesota, because that's where the Mayo Clinic is, and Abdullah's doing his pediatric surgery, and things, heading up the pediatric surgeon unit there, like just crazy successful.
He's the man.
And we're like in some bar, even though I'm clean and sober, like we used to play pool when we were kids. So we're in some bar like playing pool, and I'm telling Abdullah, I don't want to have kids. He's like, huh? I'm like, dude, I said to Abdullah, for our parents, like a university diploma meant placement in a career of your choosing. Like it put you on top. For us, like not so much. There was no guarantee for us. It was helpful. But now for our kids, like a university diploma just means crippling debt. Like the whole dynamic of wealth disparity, the whole dynamic of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, it's gotten so extreme that, and I'm telling this to Abdullah, that I just don't have it. I don't have the conscience to create a person to struggle in this world of dwindling opportunity. And dude, Abdullah says this. He says, in Africa, with all of the famine, the poverty, the disease, do you think people are any less happy? And I'm like, like my initial reaction is like, well, yeah, yeah. But I know on an intellectual level, philosophically, I understand what Abdullah's point is, which is that you can take away from a human being their means. You can take away their health. You can take away their comfort, but you physically cannot strip a human being of their capacity to love another. And it is from our capacity to love another that we derive true happiness. That's the whole concept of spirituality. So to Abdullah's point, people in these terrible situations of poverty and famine and disease actually have every bit the capacity to be as happy as anybody else, and are arguably probably happier, which is like a very powerful.
That's deep, yeah.
It's a powerful thing, but it didn't stop me from getting vasectomy.
Well, I think the world would love to see a little legend born one day.
I mean, we could. I just personally subscribe to the idea that if I wanted to be a parent, I think I would be a reasonably good parent. I think because I have a profound respect for life, and I would like, out of respect, I want to make sure that no harm is done. And I think that rather than to create a new person, I would lean more towards helping an existing person,
right?
Adoption would be more my ticket, but I'm all about animals, man.
I know you are.
I'm all about animals.
You had been doing a ton of stuff with the dogs and
my girl and I. You'll hear about it on my show tonight. We, we're all about just pouring our lives into helping animals. And awesome. that's the fire under my ass.
Good.
To become as successful as I possibly can, so that I can ultimately employ hundreds of people to take care of thousands of animals. And that's just my future life. And I want to have like a big property with an animal sanctuary and have it be my own little like Elvis Graceland. I want to have a little SteveO museum called Disgraceland.
That's your Disgraceland with all these beautiful pups.
And dude, I owe to you, like legitimately, I owe to you the fact that I'm in a position to even have these aspirations, because my career didn't like Jackass happened every like it came out in the year 2000, which is mind-boggling that it's 22 years ago.
Dude, I saw it in high school.
And then the first movie came out 2002, and then it was 4 years, no Jackass. And then the second movie, and then it was 4 years, no Jackass. And then the third movie, and then it was 10 years, no Jackass. So there were like these huge gaps. And I was messing up with drugs and alcohol, just squandering my time, going in the wrong direction, just creating wreckage, making mistakes. And then I got clean and sober before that third movie. The third movie came out, but I just wasn't organized. I had no ability to harness what that movie represented in opportunity. And after that movie came out, I started my comedy tour back then. I didn't know if it was going to pan out. I knew I was giving it hell. I was trying, but it kind of was what it was. I was trying to get TV shows going. Nobody cared. I couldn't get a project going. I had one project where I hosted a TV show and I got fired from it. 2013 comes around and all of a sudden we find out that they're making a new Jackass movie based on Bad Grandpa. And the way that we found out about it, there were articles online saying Paramount Pictures buys the domain names Jackass 4, Jackass 4 Bad Grandpa, like every variation of Bad Grandpa and Jackass 4. We're like, wait a second, they're making a Jackass 4? Like, how are we finding out about this online from articles online? Like, and Jackass 4 Bad Grandpa. And then the more we learn, it's Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa. And they're making a Jackass movie without us. It's like
gut wrenching.
And they weren't doing anything wrong. It wasn't like, it would have been nice to find out.
Know, maybe?
Yeah, it would have been nice to know.
Making a movie.
But the feeling was that, Knoxville's making a Jackass movie just by himself.
They've moved on.
And it's called Jackass, and we got Timberlaked. Like I'm the Jackson 4 now. And that was tough. And that happened right when I got fired from the one TV gig that I had. I felt like I'd been fired from Jackass. And I felt like I just had nothing. And what I was trying to get drummed up, what I was trying to get to happen, I couldn't get it to happen. My view of the world and of my career was that I had to go into a boardroom and get the executive from some network or whatever to approve to buy or to fund. I needed permission to make anything happen, and I could not get that permission. And I just felt abandoned by Jackass. I felt like I was over with. And
which was your home.
Yeah. And it's kind of it's a dramatic way of painting the picture. And again, nobody did anything wrong. And bless the Jackass family, but just I have this dramatic head I live in. My mind and my head is a dangerous, scary place. I can terrorize myself.
All right, guys, today's video is sponsored by my friends over at SeatGeek. You guys know I love these guys. They have been a part of our career for many, many years. They've supported now our new podcast and previously on our vlog channel. These guys rock. Summer concerts are here and the MLB season is in full swing, and that means you can get $20 off tickets at SeatGeek with promo code Atwood, ATWOOD. If you didn't know already, SeatGeek is a ticketing app that makes buying tickets super simple. We've got the app on our phones, and it's by far the best way to buy tickets. With so many amazing concerts and live events happening right now, you're not going to want to miss out. You can go see baseball games, Morgan Wallen, Weekend, and so much more. We've been using SeatGeek to see the UFC events, hockey games. It's the best app, period. SeatGeek wants to make sure you're getting a good deal, so when you go on the app, look for the green dots. Green means good deal. Red means bad. Don't worry, we've got the hookup for you guys. Use code Atwood, ATWOOD, for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code Atwood. Make sure you click on the link in the description. And now let's get back to the show.
And my shit got dark. I was in a dark ass place, and I remember going into this meeting with this guy, this manager guy, who wanted to manage me for some reason. It basically wanted to get my comedy, commission, because I was hitting it hard on the comedy club circuit. this guy, he's like, okay, I'm going to be your manager. And I'm pitching. He says, it's all about the digital space. You gotta have a podcast. You gotta have a YouTube channel. You gotta, you gotta be with your social media all the time, firing. That's where the world's going. It's 2013. And I didn't know anything. I was like, I thought that social media was for people who wanted to be movie stars,
wanted to be you,
but they couldn't, I had this like, and he's like, dude, he was bringing up on YouTube, like Jesse Wellens Prank versus Prank. He's like telling me all these stories to me. You gotta have a YouTube channel. You gotta have a podcast. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this guy's saying that I should be creating videos and all this content. Like, he never once mentioned anything he was going to do. He's just telling me.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you're telling me I'm going to do all
Sounds
this
like
work.
a manager.
Yeah, and then I'm going to give him 10% of everything I do. I was like, well, that doesn't sound very smart. But he kind of planted the seed, and I was so resistant to the idea. I thought, man, like, I'm a movie star, dude. I've been in 3 #1 movies. I've had my own TV shows. Like, I'm going to
Feels like a downgrade.
upload a YouTube video. That sounds like the most embarrassing, depressing demotion in my career. Like, please, God, don't let me be in that boat, And then the next thing that happened was my buddy Sam Macaroni, who I'm sure you probably know. He was working at Maker Studios. He reaches out to me. He says, dude, I waited until 6 months. He says, I've been clean and sober for 6 months, and I didn't want to reach out to you sooner because I didn't want it to be like bullshit, but like I'm on. And I was like, rad, I got my bro Macaroni back. And he's like, dude, I'm killing it on YouTube. You got to get on it. He took me out to film my first video, which was the condom prank.
I remember.
With the fake
semen. Yeah, you take pictures with people. Yeah.
And he filmed it. He sat me down and taught me how to edit. And like, that was, and while I'm putting that video together, I hook up with you and Vitaly, and you guys are like, oh man, we've got you. We'll film videos for our channel. You guys had the biggest channels on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You're like, we'll do collab. I'd never heard of a collab. I don't know what that means. Whoa. You're like, dude, we'll make a video with you on our channels, and at the end of our video, we'll send our whole audience to your channel. Mm-hmm. And I did that with your channel. I did that with Vitaly's channel. That was like the biggest gift to me. And like, I upload my first. I uploaded 2 videos on the same day, which drove to each other, and 2 videos on your guys' channels, which drove to mine. And it was like the most explosive. I landed on YouTube from 0 to 100,000 subs in like 12 hours.
It was rad.
It was rad.
It was such an honor for me. I know it was for Vitaly. We were on cloud 9. We were like, we're filming with SteveO, dude. Like,
dude, it was.
We were pumped. Yeah, we were so.
It was the biggest deal that I took control of my own shit. Like what I thought was like an embarrassing demotion was actually an absolute rebirth in my career. And on top of that, when I landed on YouTube with such a splash, all of a sudden I had no agency representation at that time outside of a touring agent. That was it. Just one guy that booked my tour, and that was it. All of a sudden I'm getting calls from my entertainment lawyer saying, dude, like, I just heard from UTA, from WME, from all these big agencies. They're clamoring to represent you in the digital space. So I'm taking meetings like now, like I'm a thing again. I got pulled out of the ashes of like, and I'm a thing again. And dude, I just dove into it. I dove into it, and it was, and you gave me that gift.
Wow.
And since then, dude, I've amassed, I don't know what, I think I'm over 30 million combined followers across all of my platforms.
Huge.
That's amazing.
I honestly, I never knew it. I never knew of the effect. I didn't.
Dude, it's insane.
I never knew the effect.
And here's what's crazy is that I'm begging my other Jackass buddies to let me do that for them. You know,
interesting.
I actually just did a collab with Dave England. I was like, dude, it's like, you know, I say we've been at the content game for so long. We have such an archive of footage, and with fair usage law, we're allowed to use anything we've ever done in any media as long as we put our own little spin on it.
Yeah.
You know, so I sat down with Dave England, and we made a list of all the bits that we were in Jackass together. And then we just sat down and recorded ourselves, like talking about the craziest moments that we've ever had together on camera. We're cutting that together. And I told him, I said, Dave, dude, I'll put up a video, send all my traffic to your channel, and we'll have this video waiting for them. I'll just give you my audience that I've been building for so long. Yeah. And I'm so excited to do that with Dave England.
Dave's awesome, man. Yeah. What a fun guy.
Yeah.
Like he was nice enough to do some stuff with us.
For sure. Natural born pranksters.
Such a nice guy, dude.
Dave's the best.
Yeah.
And it's not been so easy with Chris Pontius.
No,
I looked up on YouTube, youtube.com/Chris Pontius. It's taken. Oh, something's there.
Course.
God damn it. You know, but as I'm sure you know, if a YouTube channel or any social media account for that matter is inactive for a certain amount of time, they sort of lose their right to it.
Yes.
And if you can reach the platform, so I reached out to my guy at YouTube, and I was like, hey, the Chris Pontius URL is inactive, dude. Can we swoop in on it? And he's like, yep, create a new thing. We'll switch it over. So I got youtube.com/Chris Pontius. Then I got my graphics guy to make a cool banner. I put on a profile. I'm like, dude, ready to present it to him. I go, Chris, dude, here you go, man. Here's your channel. Here's your login. Here's your password.
Just handing it to him, dude.
Dude, and I'm ready to send all of my people are going to be dying for a Pontius YouTube channel. And dude, that was what, like a year. Even when we uploaded my first YouTube videos, I was like, one of the videos was with Chris. I'm like, oh, dude, everyone get ready. Chris is gonna have a YouTube channel. 10 years. 10 years. And like he just, you know, but I'm ready to do it. I'm in the process of doing it with Dave England. And I have an exciting surprise for your listeners. If we want to get my homeboy, the undeniable MVP of Jackass Forever, the true star of Jackass Forever, the guy with the most unfortunate balls.
I know who you're talking about right away.
In the history of major motion pictures, there has never been a more unfortunate set of balls than my man, Danger Aaron.
Danger Aaron.
Let's get him over here.
Yeah, take my seat. Come take my seat.
I'll come over here. You come over here.
Oh my gosh. No. Sorry I'm late, you guys.
Oh, he's going over there.
Yeah.
Britt's leaving
down
us.
the street. I caught him.
You just found this puppy?
Dude,
Danger Aaron.
I'm breathing so hard from running. I don't run anymore because my nuts hurt so bad constantly. You know how hard it is to run?
What's up,
Hi,
man?
how you doing?
Welcome to
doing?
Ohio.
Is that where we're at?
Welcome to the middle of nowhere.
Yesterday we were in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And now we're in Ohio.
Yeah,
but then we're going back to West Virginia?
The day before that, where were we?
Michigan.
In case you guys don't know, these guys are on tour. SteveO's on tour all over the country. You're going to Europe.
I don't have your updates at that.
I thought I saw.
No, I have Canada.
Okay.
I've got a blowout Canada tour, and I've been having so much fun on my tour. Like I've got a tour bus, and I go around, and we've got a studio on the tour bus. I travel with like a production team, and I love like bringing out guys from Jackass.
Yeah, and what a cool thing for the viewers. Like even for me to have you here, it's like such a bonus, dude.
Dude, it's been
you're a legend, man. Like. Your poor balls, dude.
Oh, my balls are shredded. But the funny thing is that before and actually like shredded, like almost pretty much put them through like a meat grinder, basically. But they're not really that bad.
What was it, Pontius? Who was in the new one that put it in the plate?
That was the
ping
ball.
pong.
That was the wiener.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the full on.
What was going?
That was insane.
That was
So,
insane.
so when we showed up to film after the first COVID break, it was like 6 months when we first were started the film, and then I showed up and then they had Francis Ngannou punch me in the nuts, right? And then
How do you survive something like that?
dude, it was brutal.
Like legit, this dude's.
It was so brutal. My nuts swelled up so bad, and then the next day I was doing the softball pitch, and then I just continued to do all these things. But when I showed up to set 3 weeks before we started filming again, I knew that I had conceived a baby, which, by the way, I did not get a vasectomy, and now I have a 1-year-old.
Let's go,
Yes.
dude.
Yeah, her name's Cedar. She's amazing.
So these things are still working.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they were working before. Because because we were pregnant before we started filming. So
Do you got a license now?
no, I took the license away. I'm no longer gonna have any more children. Well, I don't know if I actually even can, but maybe I will.
Is there a way
Maybe
for
I
them to test that? Like, hey, these are
Was you
sperm
count.
Was
Yeah,
you
for
planning
sure.
it, or was it like that was a surprise?
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
So going into filming, I'm like, I'm not breaking my neck again. I don't want to have I can't. I've had 3 broken necks. I've had 11 knee surgeries. My body's wrecked, but my nuts were still pretty good. My nuts were intact, And since I knew I was already having a baby, I pretty much went like, let's just cut this thing off. And so I didn't tell anybody though until the last week of filming that I was even having a baby, because I was like, well, if I tell them I'm having a baby.
I tried to impress upon Daydream. Like, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared.
I know, but then they would have been like, I thought, like maybe they would have been like, well, let's tie it to the semi truck and pull it off,
You didn't
That's
want to
what-
let them know you don't need these balls
Yes,
anymore.
exactly.
There's still some balls in it.
So the whole time we were filming, and I'm getting hit with all these things. And
You didn't do your balls any favors
No.
by withholding that information.
it
like
was
you were
just a
taking care of
cheap vasectomy.
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
doing it.
it's interesting. I got a vasectomy for my bucket list show. Of course, because my girl and I, we don't want to have kids. So that's why I got a vasectomy. But I had this idea for the longest time, since I was 12. Like I heard a joke when I was 12. What is the definition of macho? It's a man who jogs home from his own vasectomy. And I was like, I don't even think I knew what a vasectomy was when I was 12, but I was like, man, macho, man, I want to be macho. And so I just always had the idea growing up, I'm going to get a vasectomy and then do a bunch of crazy shit. And I called the idea the vasectomy Olympics. So as I go to get ready to do it, I'm like, man, I can't just cut the tube unless first I get an answer to this question I've gotten for so long, which is like, after everything that's happened to your balls, you have kids anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
had
like
to get
the
a
number
sperm
one
count.
question.
So I went and got a sperm count. And dude, I don't want to give away all everything from my show, but dude, like, what I learned is that as it relates to ball trauma, if it doesn't kill you, it actually makes you
stronger. I'm like gladiator,
You've
dude.
got the
I've got gladiator nuts, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on in there? It's like kung fu magic, bro. I got kung fu sperm. Just
He's got
They've
Crazy.
evolved. They've got helmets and
yeah. I just had a kid right now, just sitting here.
It's the movie Braveheart.
wow,
Yeah.
dude. So we were talking out front before we did your podcast today. Great conversation with Aaron, and it brought up such an incredible point of we were talking about me as a YouTuber
Yeah.
and the credit of those that really started YouTube. Like, it's a weird thing to think about, but there is absolutely no me without you guys. That is just a fact. I was so inspired. 2 reasons. One, you guys showed the world that you could do dumb things with your friends, but also capitalize on it. You taught people that there is a possibility, it was a very small possibility, that you could capitalize on it and make a living. When I was in high school, I knew I was making videos, period, but there was no money.
Well,
You guys-
see, what happened was because we did Jackass, it inspired people to do genius things.
Genius stuff.
People were sending videos to like MTV and stuff. There was no way we would
wasn't
open
even-
it.
I mean,
So-
they wouldn't have known where to send the videos
Yeah.
to. Like, but as soon as Jackass came out on TV, there were it was like a wave of kids showing up in hospitals like all over the
Had to
country,
be.
maybe the world,
Yeah.
and in very short order. Like Senator Joe Lieberman was lobbying against Jackass specifically. Like there were MTV got super
believe it.
scared about lawsuits and liability, and so their knee-jerk
They added those prompts like these are
Right.
done by professionals. Please don't
Right.
do this
Don't
at
send
home.
your videos to us.
Don't do
Right.
this
But
because
they did.
They stopped doing the reruns at 5 p.m. after
Yeah.
TRL or whatever it was. They pushed it later at night. But even with that, there was such a fear of liability that they started cracking down on us and things that we filmed. So we cannot air that. You know, they started censoring us and they started not giving us permission to shoot things. And Knoxville quit the show, and I
That's how we ended up like starting to make movies.
right because the
ratings
the
were better.
R rating.
So they only helped y'all.
Yeah, I
mean,
gotta believe that
in
Knoxville had the idea.
Yeah.
Because Knoxville always wanted to be a movie star.
But in the meantime, though, all these people were inspired to go film stuff, and with the digital age and how like like cameras became smaller and it's just so easy to use. Everyone had a video camera. That's when then I think like YouTube basically created because that was the platform. Then
YouTube
everyone
came
could
out
be a
in
Jackass.
2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
everyone can be a Jackass.
But I'll
now.
tell you this. The amount of content I filmed inspired by you is through the roof, dude. The idea that I can make a living one day doing stupid crap, that's you.
Well, dude,
amazing.
we're honored by that, and I gotta say too that it's such a like a full circle thing because you were so far ahead in the YouTube space that once I had this rebirth when I got on YouTube, like I owe where I'm at now to you. So
That's
it's
insane.
like it's
What
full
is this
circle.
YouTube guys you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
What is
And-
Basically,
what is
a
YouTube?
little
And
YouTube
dude,
channel and
I was telling you on my podcast that like there are a bunch of YouTubers that like that I'm this weird dynamic with. Like Steve will do it.
Yeah.
You know, like he's got this this crazy respect for me. You know, we're honored to be in each other's presence. Like
Dude,
Steve
you were-
will do it.
yeah.
Danny Duncan.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, that's how I feel. And it's basically like you were planting seeds in Jackass.
right.
And you were growing these trees that are now shading you, dude. Like we
Yeah.
all love you. We all want the best
Dude,
for you.
That's
We all
such a great analogy.
Yeah, it's like
I've looped back around to become like the mentee. Is that a word?
the mentee.
like mentor?
Oh,
yeah,
mentee,
the
mentor.
mentee to the mentor.
It's
you
not
know?
wrong, dude. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's rad. And like here we've got our dude Ross over here.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said that he was telling Danger Aaron about how much money he's missing out on.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you
and-
talking about? I mean, you guys basically became your own production studio, your own distributor, everything. Like with
Well, I mean,
YouTube and
dude.
creating all of that, you're in charge of everything you do and the money you make, and that's wild.
And dude, it's. I mean, you look at like the Logan Pauls, like you know, like the Roman Atwoods, like the days of the $20 million a movie stars are basically over.
There's like a select few.
Yeah,
very few.
and then nobody's making $20 million a movie unless maybe it's on the back end and maybe like an Avengers movie. I don't know. Like,
And no one's buying any DVDs or VHS
Well,
right.
or
Talking
anything,
about
so it's all
Avengers,
digital.
Your Bulls need to be a superhero. It needs to be an
There we go,
Avenger.
dude.
Because
Well, they-
it needs to put a cape on there and just
Yeah, just
literally.
put a cape on my nuts right there, and just float them around like green screen.
You got the gemstones in that because not only that you made a
I
baby
think you're
too.
onto something here. You need a credit for that.
it's so funny. Man.
So
but
we
literally, though, you can create a channel just based on your nuts.
Dude,
Like
YouTubers.
any YouTube.
I mean, and like YouTubers are at the highest echelon of like A-list movie star like revenues. Like you know, the
Yeah.
YouTubers are earning so much f***ing money. It's stupid.
Do you
It's
think I
insane.
should start a YouTube channel, you guys?
I mean, you have one, and we gotta.
Okay, well let's.
Before
Yeah.
you go home,
5 years ago. Yeah, start it 5 years ago.
Oh, do you have a time machine?
Here's one of the biggest issues.
No.
Is the the content is harder now because they've become strict.
Very
like,
sensitive.
your balls aren't going to be too friendly.
No super
Right.
nuts.
No super nuts. You might get away with it at first,
Yeah.
but once they're onto you,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
definitely.
like TikTok is
So I
not-
missed the window.
Oh, dude, TikTok is the most pussified.
Can you even
platform.
post anything? I can't post anything. And I am very not that edgy.
So what
Yeah.
happens? Like it starts off, everything's okay, and then the people more popular.
Once you're
gets more
spotted,
people.
it's like spotlights. And once
Yeah.
your content's spotted, you're on the red list, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's also doable. It's also
Absolutely.
doable.
You
What
find
if I started a kid show on YouTube?
you're
I mean, I have-
fitting for a kid show. You have a new kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Danger Aaron. I want to tell kids what not to do. Safety first.
You probably crush
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
Probably
Okay,
crush
there
it.
we go.
There's no other
When I
person.
put it together, I'm going to get a hold of you guys, and
Yeah.
you're going to help me launch this thing,
I'll
right?
launch it any day.
So
Yeah, dude.
Come here and
Right.
we'll give our kids a
I'll
class.
see you guys in 5 years.
See you guys in 5
there you
years.
go.
Now a word from our sponsor at BetterHelp. How well would you take care of your car if you had to keep the same one your entire life? That is how our brains work. So why not treat them that way? How we care for our mind affects how we experience life. So it's important to invest time and care into keeping them healthy. There are plenty of ways to support a healthy brain, like learning a new language or taking power naps. There is also BetterHelp online therapy, and that's help, H-E-L-P. BetterHelp can be a great place to go privately and have real life conversations with an online therapist. I know people that use this all the time. It's private, it's personal, it's comfortable. BetterHelp is an online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat only therapy sessions. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners right here, right now, get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Roman. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/Roman. Links are always in the description, and let's get back to the SteveO show.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
I couldn't believe the amount of respect Brittany and Roman had for you, and because on the outside, like I'm like, you know, this is my family, it's my heart, and man, they talked about you on another level. I'm like, was mind blown how you're explaining where you're in this dark place, and you didn't trust nobody. And all of a sudden, you have Roman and Vitaly comes over on something
Yeah,
like, I'm making TV, I'm making the pinnacle of like how I'm being seen. And you have these two young men come up to you. What made that trust happen? Like what made you in your heart say, I'm going to follow your lead on this? And all of a sudden, not only you've been motivating him and he's been looking up to you, is this the first time you guys are actually in this conversation today? Like, did you know?
I
Like,
mean,
you
I don't know
planted that seed?
I didn't know it had any effect on him.
I mean,
I didn't know you were in a dark place. I didn't know.
You gotta know that that like you facilitated the launch of my YouTube channel in such a fashion that had I started on my own, you gave me the catapult, the boost, the rocket ship to land on YouTube, and that made all the difference in the world. And I stuck with it, you know. I
Yeah.
stuck with it, and from that beginning, I've really been able to put together like some wild shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, where I'm at right now, it makes me think about how when Jackass first started as a TV show. I was a circus clown in a flea market circus and video camera, and I was a cocaine addict, and I was you know, I had no organization. I had no, you know, and when Jackass came out on TV, I'd been fired from the circus. I was actually homeless, you know, broke, unemployed. Like I was flailing. And I was this, like on this #1 show on TV, I was a bona fide celebrity and I was genuinely homeless. Meanwhile, at the same exact time, Bam Margera was a pro skater, had all of these revenue streams like built in place when Jackass came out. So as Jackass came out, it was like a rocket ship attached to his existing revenue streams. Like, with Jackass coming out, Bam Margera started selling more skateboards than Tony Hawk. People,
Wow.
there were, he was,
Yeah, he was
I
like
remember
number
that.
one, and in his shoes
Yeah.
too. Like,
Van Margera skateboards
crazy.
were outselling Tony Hawk skateboards. And keep in
Insane.
mind, that's year 2000. Tony Hawk first did the 900 in 1999.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, I remember
But
the him logos
yeah.
everywhere.
And that wasn't
Everywhere.
just his boards though. It was also like Element as a
Yeah.
whole
He was just
became
killing
like
it.
He was.
He was
I mean,
the face of skating.
for
His estimated net worth was like $45 million or something. You
Coming
know,
out the
like,
gate
Wow.
of
I
the
mean,
new movie.
I don't know back then, but he was just making such insane amounts of money because he had built the revenue. He had the infrastructure
Mhm.
that like all he needed was the engine, you
Yeah.
know, and with the
Rocket fuel.
yeah, and now it's just been so hard to see like what's been going on with BAM.
Yeah.
And you know, and for me, like I got clean and sober. I stopped going the wrong way. I stopped creating the wreckage. Like I stopped wasting my f***ing time. And I just got focused and I built my own infrastructure. And now with this last Jackass movie, like I have all this stuff in place where it's like I'm now in the situation that BAM was way back then. And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. And again, it's all because I adopted the digital.
You did. You
Yeah.
did.
Approach.
You did it.
And to answer your question, there was nothing required on my part to put my trust in these guys. The numbers were self-evident. Like these guys were the biggest shit on YouTube.
Yes.
And I knew at that time that if I'm going to f around with YouTube,
Coming out the gates big.
You're going to mess with the legends and the kings of,
Yeah.
of this era.
but like,
Yeah,
how did you?
gotcha.
So, from what I gather,
these guys legitimately started
I
with
know,
zero
is-
and built themselves
but
up.
from what I gather, it seems as though it's because of your consistency every day, filming and putting stuff out that created people then like cared about what you were doing and became attached to you.
There's two components because there was the prank phenomenon where these guys just had such like viral things that it wasn't about like uploading every day and the consistency. It was just the viral quality of just how shocking and how compelling their pranks were that made them blow up out of nowhere. And then Roman wisely stepped aside from the pranking and got into this vlogging, which was based on consistency, and that got even bigger. But the numbers were there. I knew that these were the guys to fuck with. So there was no there was no leap of faith. It was like
So then,
was
what
a
do you
business
tell?
move.
So then, what do you
Yeah,
tell a guy
yeah.
like not just me, but like, okay, yeah, I'm 45 years old. I've done it. I'm legend. 22 years of Jackass. It's YouTube and Snapchat and Instagram and vlogging and everything. It's been going on for quite a while. Everyone's in the game.
Yeah.
How does a guy like me, or even somebody that's young, get into the game at this
Well,
point when there's so much already content?
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
so many people.
You have an obnoxious advantage.
Oh, I do.
Because you have a
for
built-in
sure.
audience of people who already
Yeah.
care about you.
Yeah.
So it's like cheating. You're coming into the game with the deck stacked in your favor.
It's like me starting a podcast right now.
Right.
I have a built-in audience
Yes.
that I can
You just
bring with
transfer
me.
over.
Perfect
I don't have to.
analogy.
I don't have to actually start at zero,
Right.
which you have.
Even though
right?
you did, which is the fact that you started a new channel.
Dude, can I tell you something that was the most exciting part of this whole thing?
What if like I gotta believe that your prank channel is like inactive?
Yeah, you can't.
Why-
It's covered in dust, dude.
Well, why wouldn't you have just repurposed that for the subscriber
You mean
base
using
that it had?
that those subscribers?
I think that I really wanted to genuinely long-term build a podcast audience, not bring in anybody that didn't want a podcast.
Okay.
Right. So,
I can see that.
so that was one of the main goals. The other thing is, it's just tired of holding on to a big channel. Like I'm just holding on to it.
It is kind of a bane,
Right,
right?
it's like
Isn't it like
there's-
having like an insane number of subscribers and not the views to match it?
Yeah, it really.
it hurts.
After
the
a couple
heart.
years, you're hanging right for
Yeah.
your dear life. Starting a new channel, every subscriber's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
they
You
wanna be
see
there.
it. You
Yeah.
see the
It's,
numbers.
but dude, that's that's heavy.
Yeah, so I'm so.
So
amped to
basically,
start
I'm just in the right spot right now. I have 0
You're gonna do great.
followers.
Dude, you're gonna do great, and you have the built-in audience. But here's the thing about digital content: it is so democratic. It is so like analytics. It is so transparent. There's no like, and that's why I have such a respect for anybody who's successful in YouTube, because if people aren't into it, you're not getting anywhere.
It's tough. It's tough. It's everyone used to rush to Hollywood to be the movie star. And you see the handful that are absolute superstars, right?
Yeah.
And some of them do come out and the others fail hard.
Yeah.
Now we have this new set of humans they're going to be the next YouTuber. And you see the ones that, look at SteveO do it. He's got an empire now. And the Logan Pauls they're doing the biggest thing that any A-list celebrity does.
Dude, they're
crushing over any there's very few Hollywood celebrity actors that have ever made it to the level at which, financially especially, that these guys and yourself included, it's a rare thing to be a star in Hollywood.
Yes.
So you're able to do this in your life, in your home.
Are you paying attention to the Steve will do it phenomenon?
What is happening?
Is this something very new or?
No, I mean,
of course.
just his whole
Yeah.
dynamic.
Oh, he had Trump on his podcast.
Right.
Does it get any
Are
bigger?
you serious?
Steve will do it, dude. He's full spend.
Yeah, full spin. But the idea
out there.
The idea that they see the Logan Pauls, the Steves, the me's, whatever. There's all these kids now.
Right.
That's their only goal, just like it was to go to Hollywood. So you have these guys that do make it, but it's scary for the ones that don't.
Well, it's also scary for the ones that do make it, but that it's just a fickle, temporary situation.
Yeah, it's very hard to make it 10 years, right? And build a nest that you're safe and you're secure.
Right.
But also doing it now. So when I did it, I would not have made it doing it now.
That's what I
just
was
wouldn't
asking.
have.
It's how does it even exist where there's so much?
My
there's
pranks
so
weren't
much content.
allowed. Most of my pranks are
Right.
pulled off YouTube now. So it
Right.
would have never made it. They
Right.
were shared, they were embraced, they were promoted, they were trending.
I don't know that I agree that that it's hard to get noticed and take off now. I think that
Well, at least with my content, it was hard.
yeah,
Now, if I do it now, it's very hard.
right,
My numbers go.
man.
It's
It
is a hard time for sure.
It's a crazy world.
But you find your balance.
But there's so many kids out there that are like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" They just say straight up, they say a YouTuber.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
what?
talk to
Sure.
so many teachers. It's just YouTubers.
I mean, dude, you can ask. You go, go into a school, and do you know who Brad Pitt is? They're gonna. Do you know who Steve will do it is? Whoa!
Yeah, they're wearing his merch. They're literally
Yeah.
wearing his merch. Yeah.
Like it's insane. So,
But how many Steve will do it can there be?
That's the thing.
Right.
How many
thing.
Roman Atwoods can there be?
And
How
there's
many-
also widows.
Right.
Roman Atwood was hotter. You know? And we all have our time, but the longer.
dude, it
you
was
get that-
crazy when you said that your fan base is now adult.
They are full grown adults, man.
It's
Yeah, sick. My it's like 18 to 35 now. Yeah.
yeah.
So if they,
Wow.
yeah, it's all grown up, man.
Plus, the other aspect to all of this is that the platforms themselves change. Like you said, YouTube now doesn't let you do pranks, but then there's a new platform out that'll do. You can do anything on.
Well,
it.
no, every
year.
platform is pussified now because it's all about the ad
It's tough.
revenue.
Yeah, it's tough.
So everyone's terrified. I don't understand why they don't have like just edgy.
Enter at your own risk.
Right. I mean,
YouTube
like,
X.
like you would think that
I just gave that away. God.
you would think that there would be certain advertisers that are like, fuck yeah, like,
Well, it seems like it.
what are you worried about?
Yeah, it's a platform across the board, though.
Right.
The adpocalypse was real.
Yeah.
It was a real thing. It really crapped on our channels hard. That's
Yeah.
when everything went down.
Right. But to answer your question, Dange, I think that you start off by exploiting, mining the 20 plus years of footage that you've put together.
I've got tons
and
sitting in the shelves.
and again, you get to tell your story. You get to like give it commentary, give it like a new meaning, and present any footage, and you're allowed to do that. And you just tell stories about the crazy career that you've had.
Mhm.
Like you've seen me do it a million times with all of my videos.
Yeah.
Like the 10 most this, 10 most that. Like the story about how this happened.
Which,
like,
as a viewer, those are awesome.
it's,
Yeah.
They're so good.
So you've got a wealth of footage to mine, of stories to tell. And as you do that with each video that you put out, you're going to have, what if I went and did this, And so you sprinkle in
Some
new
new
content with old content. And that's all I've done.
Yeah. My best advice always is you absolutely can crush it, but do it fun.
Yeah.
Make sure it's fun because it is a grind. If you really want to live it, you're gonna work for it. But you absolutely can do it. Everybody listening can do it. But make sure it's very fun. Make sure fun's first.
Yeah.
Make the money come with the fun.
Yeah, what do they say? Money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't make you happy, but happy makes money.
Dude, I like that. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's so real.
How about the one where if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make money?
If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make money.
If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make
Oh,
dollars.
sense. I get it.
Yeah, I'm going to use that one tonight on the show. Okay, you guys ready?
T-shirts available soon.
T-shirts available. Like, when's the last time you actually used any kind of change? By the way, like pennies,
I almost
nickels,
don't even
dimes.
take it back. Like when
Quarters.
they hand it to you, it's like you just put it in the donation.
Think
thing.
about that.
I like to stick it in my pocket so I can put it in my big 5-gallon
keep
water
it-
jug.
yeah.
I've got.
And then that one day you take it to
$1,000
the
in
bank and buy
Yeah.
yourself something cool.
That's no good here.
Yeah.
I would do
what a
that.
waste.
Like I even think that I just want to see like a 5-gallon water jug filled with coins get dumped into a coin sorter, and just the satisfaction I'd be like, have just come
20
out of it.
minutes.
We'll be here for a bit.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
line.
little-
at the
They just
bank.
all get clogged.
Make it a time lapse. Do they have ones that like actually roll it and spit out the
Oh, I bet
rolls?
somebody will make you one. If anybody knows, we're gonna
Make sure you're filming your face, because after all that coin go in and they take that percentage, you're gonna be mad
I
at
think they're
yourself.
all
You
free
put
now.
that coin inside that machine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's next for SteveO? You're on the road.
I've got a book coming out.
Sick.
And my second book comes out in September. It's available for pre-order. It would mean the absolute world to me.
And if you guys pre-order, he signs it.
Yeah, like I've structured it so that if you pre-order it, that's the way to get a signed hardcover version. And
Sick.
outside of finding a way to physically meet me in person, I don't believe there is any other way to get a signed hardcover version than to pre-order it, because the pre-order dynamic really just helps the book. So, and dude, it's like uncomfortably juicy, dude. Like it's
I do not doubt it at all.
mean,
I'm
dude,
sure
like-
it is just beautiful.
the name of the book is A Hard Kick in the Nuts: What I've Learned from a Lifetime of Terrible Decisions. And it's effectively as tongue-in-cheek. It's like SteveO is writing a book of wisdom, like
Yeah.
a self-help book. But I have fun with that, as absurd as it sounds. But then at the same time, like, dude, I've been through some shit, and I came out of it the other end like a lot better for it.
Man,
know?
the amount of humans that you have inspired through your sobriety, you have saved lives. You
Wow.
have saved lives, man. You saved yours, but for people to see that they can come out of this mess they're in, there's people listening right now that are struggling, dude.
Yeah.
And you are proof that you can kick this thing's butt.
Today's a new day, man. Tomorrow's a new day. Like that, we were talking
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
podcast. I'm like, everyone has the choice to make a choice tomorrow, today.
I'm
to just
also
do it.
proof. I'm also proof that you can get completely sober from drugs and alcohol and continue on a path that's super fucked up. And like
To
I've
continue that wild career,
well, dude,
off and on.
I gave up drugs and alcohol, and then just found myself acting out sexually. Like not full gnarly sex addict status, and
So it kind of replaced,
yeah,
took its place.
for sure. Like I was on tour where every show I'm gonna take a photo with every single person in the audience,
Yeah.
and then the show ended and it was like an audition.
Just
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember you hitting on me. I was like, bro, I don't know.
Damn, that's a pretty good way to do it.
it was
Like,
gnarly. It was
not
gnarly,
bad.
and as I approached 40 years old, I was like, dude, like this is pathetic, you know, like I don't want to be this, you know, but I couldn't stop. And so I like this whole, and dude, I get into it in that book, man. Like
Awesome,
so
man. You're gonna save people's lives through the book.
horrifying situations I found myself in, like with like risky sex, and I just put it all out there, you know. And then like now I've got you know, I'm in a relationship. I'm engaged to be married.
And
I've
dude,
got.
you look so happy with
Thank
her,
you,
man.
dude.
You really do.
Dude, I've not put my dick anywhere it's not supposed to be for over 5 years.
This is a big record.
It's gnarly. Like it's rad. Like and like I live with integrity, man. Like my mantra in getting sexually sober. My mantra was that I'm putting in the work to become the man that the love of my life deserves. And I'm doing that preemptively, recognizing that I have yet to meet the love of my life. Because before that point, if I could meet the perfect woman, but I was useless to that woman, I had to become the right person in order to meet the right person.
Yeah, you were an animal. You're just...
Yeah, and dude, that's like the biggest thing for me in the last 5 years. I've been extra. Not only have I not been like wasting time with the drugs and alcohol, but I haven't been wasting the time chasing the chicks around so that I can be all stressed out. Like, oh, what did I do? And so that I can feel so shameful and guilty that I ghosted another one. You know, like that whole everything about all that sucked. And now I have no distractions. All my time is just focused on what I want to accomplish. And I've got this great life partner helping me to accomplish it.
And look at you now.
Yeah.
You're in big theaters now.
Dude,
bro, you're killing it. I'm so happy for you. It's
gnarly.
Man.
Thank you.
So happy for you.
And then, dude, once I get the sex thing going, then all of a sudden I'm like, and it's with the sugar and the food.
Oh yeah, I remember because you had no sugar forever, and then you're like, "Dang, dude, I'm addicted to sugar." I'm like, "Oh, what are you eating? Like, what are you?" Because I eat candy bars and shit. And
it's the worst.
What was your
dude?
Addiction?
My first rock bottom, which made me go into a 12-step program for food and specifically sugar. I was in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie when that came out. It's like a few years ago now. I had a whole tub of caramel popcorn and a jumbo pack of red vines. And I would take a handful of caramel popcorn, put it in my mouth, and then with all the caramel popcorn in my mouth, bite a huge thing and chew the red vines with the caramel popcorn together. And I crushed both all.
Sounds delicious.
And I was just like, what am I doing?
That sounds delicious.
And dude, I go to the store and buy a whole bag of fun-sized Butterfingers and eat the whole.
What was it? Butterfingers. You were addicted to Butterfingers. He's like, I can't stop eating them.
Gnarly.
Cancel that caramel popcorn that we had coming. No, sugar is.
But seriously,
evil.
like
sugar's evil, dude.
You.
I was good for like 10 months off that. I went into and then, dude, like
once it hits you,
and then I'm in a restaurant with my girl, and the waiter's like, dude, someone like ordered an extra lava cake. I'm just gonna put it here, and I'm like on a date with my girl, and I'm like, I take one bite, and then
explosion.
It's like if I did a line of cocaine, and I just can't, you know, like I'm just off to the races, and it took me like 2 years to get back.
It's a legal drug.
Now every single meal I take a photo of it. I do not eat a meal. I do not eat anything unless I take a photo of it and send it to my mentor in the food program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so like I'm balls deep in 4 12-step fellowships and barreling towards a 5th because of the Amazon.
Seriously, now he's just addicted to making product and going out on the road and constantly being.
Well, I mean,
producing.
The work is arguably an addiction, but like the spending, like I just buy stupid shit on Amazon.
And by the way, that is by design. That is by design. You literally go. Ordered. And it's so easy. Ordered. You do no work.
Easy. It's so easy to buy something at midnight on the computer.
And it's dangerous. And by the way, when you're ordering, I'm also getting more flyer miles.
Dude.
This is a good thing.
I bought a storage unit just to hold all the stuff I've been buying. And that's not a joke.
Dude,
Baby, every new level of recovery and sobriety is like, it's like a graduate school program, or you know, it's just like I graduate to a higher quality of life.
Yeah. So whether it's drugs or work or sex.
Sex or
You have an
food.
addictive personality.
Yeah, I do.
You
And
can't place an order on Amazon without getting addicted.
Sure.
To it. Yeah.
One could argue that I'm addicted to 12-step recovery, but hey, dude, I'll take it.
Jeez,
I'll take it.
SteveO, you're a freaking inspiration,
Dude,
man.
thank
And I
you
look
so much,
up
man.
to both you guys a lot. I give a lot of my career, a lot of it to you guys, man. You really
Yeah.
inspired me and so many others, a lot of us.
Dope.
Well,
Well,
dude,
glad we
thank
could
you
help,
both.
man.
Man,
Glad we
Guys,
could help. I need to start a
Spotify.
YouTube channel, I think.
Yeah, get on it,
Yes.
dude. What are you waiting for?
Yes.
Yeah.
he's
What are you
got,
waiting for?
he has a YouTube
Bro,
channel.
take my
I'll
number.
get it going. I'll
Take
get
my
it.
number.
I'll get it going after this.
Call me. I'll sit in and walk you through the whole thing.
Dude.
Piece of cake, dude.
Roman, literally, it wasn't just shooting. Like, he took me under his wing, answered every phone call, every question, like, literally cared to get me started.
Yeah, there's a
And,
formula, and it seems
Yeah.
like you
It's
guys
just-
got it
There's just a
figured out.
little learning curve to get going, and then once the ball's rolling,
Yeah.
it's just grind.
Dude, it's epic, and brother, like, my life is exponentially better because of you, and
crazy, man.
because
Thank
of the
you.
relationship.
Guys, we did a collaboration today. We shot SteveO's podcast right before this one, so both channels, YouTube,
And yours was better.
Spotify. Yours was cooler.
I mean, like we haven't really laid back. Like, we're just hanging out. with
Yeah, I love
mine,
it. But it's
you
also
know.
just me and you.
It's great.
We got a little group here.
Yeah,
it's easier.
it's all good, man.
So everybody jump over to SteveO's Wild Ride, available everywhere podcasts are available. And I think there's a really special treat on Spotify on both of our accounts. So I will
Dude.
link them, both of them in the description. And dude, it's an honor. We're going to your show tonight.
Dude, I'm so excited. Can I tell you that you saw me do comedy like way back when?
Yeah,
like,
I've watched many shows.
like 2015. You know,
Yep.
and I was getting it done to an extent.
Absolutely.
Dude, I've not stopped, dude. I grinded on I found my voice.
Heck yeah.
I found my stride, and now it's like this multimedia affair where all of my worlds have converged.
Beautiful.
And dude, we're talking about how sensitive, the social media platforms are.
Good.
Dude, I lash out with my live show because
Freaking pumped, man.
dude, it is a triple
Next
X
level.
rated show.
Let's go,
Fucking laws are broken.
And you're gonna
fucking
be on
bones
tonight.
are broken.
Yeah, he had me.
Yeah.
I came out for 6 shows.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
just doing a
and
quick
I-
5 days.
I've had so much fun bringing Jackass guys to be my openers.
What a cool
just
thing to do,
hang
too.
out.
That is
And
so cool, man.
I've had Poopies on tour, Preston Lacey, Dave England, Danger Aaron.
Freaking love all
I've had Rachel Wolfson, even though that was just one show in LA. Out of everybody, like, Danger came prepared with all new material. We asked him 12 minutes. He rehearsed his material. He timed it to 12 minutes. He goes out on stage with his timer set
So
to
you-
12 minutes.
Little
Gets
wall
out-
breaker over here.
Yeah.
Gets out there and finds his laugh on all of his jokes. I'm hearing the laughs that he's getting for the jokes that he planned,
That's
that
awesome.
he wrote, and he, to precision, comes out 12 minutes. Hey guys, the most professional approach.
Hey, no pressure tonight, buddy.
It's no big deal.
We're
It's not
excited,
like ripping my dick off.
We're super pumped. You guys, check out SteveO's tour. He's definitely coming near you. I've seen you enough to say it's awesome.
Well, dude,
It's awesome.
like, I'm so stoked that you get to see like the growth from where you saw it last to where it's at now.
Oh yeah, the evolution, man. I love it.
It's on.
See you guys
Thank
tonight.
Let's wrap it up. You guys are beautiful. You're one of a kind. Smile more.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.